Hi everyone. You can use the range function to create a sequence of numbers. For example, I'm going to use a for loop and I'm going to declare a variable called number, and I'm going to use the range function to generate numbers from 0 to 9. Now I'm going to print the number just to show you what I mean. So 0 to 9, because the default starting point is 0 and it ends at 9, but not including this value. So this is where it's going to stop, but it does not include the value 10. Now, if you wanted this to start from, say, 1 instead of 0, then you need to specify the start parameter. So let me show you what I mean. I'm just going to create some sort of a line that will separate between the two so you can tell the difference. So in the range of, now I'm going to specify that this is going to start from 1 and ends at 9, not including, so it does not include 10. I'm going to print it again so you can see how this is printing a little bit differently. This one starts, default starts with 0, but this one starts from 1. You can even change this to any number. So let's say I want to start from 10 to 50. So it's going to include the numbers from 10 all the way to 49. So just don't forget, this is the stopping or the integer number where the position will stop, but not including the actual value that is here. Okay, now what if you didn't want to what if you want to count by 10, for example, instead of 1? In this case, you need to specify the third argument or the third parameter, which is the step. So here we specify that instead of, so the default, if you don't specify the step, it will by default increment by 1 each time. But then here, if you specify this parameter, then it's gonna increment by 10. So let me just show you what I mean. So now it's going to do 10, 20, 30, and 40. And because I've said 50, it's not going to include 50. But if I actually change this to 51, then it's going to actually include 50 because 50 is included, but not 51. But now if I do plus by 1, then it's not going to include 51. So you can, I hope this helps you see the relationship between these two. So if you don't specify the start and the step, then you'll only have the default values for that. So if I do something like this, a start is equal to 1. So the default is, let me just spell things right. The default is 0. The stop is, say, I've decided that I want to stop at 10, and the step is, say, also 10. Here the default is 1. Okay, so this one over here, this is required. The other ones there are default values, so like this case over here. So this 10 is actually the stop variable. Okay, so this is required in all three. You'll see that stop is there. But this is not going to make sense because here I'm saying stop at 10 but then start at 10. So I could also show you how you could use the start variable instead if you didn't want to type them in like this. And that really depends on your program. If you feel like you are working a lot with these same numbers, then put them into variables. But if you're not reusing them many times, then there's no need to create variables as such. And step by, I might want to change step to, for example, 2. And I'll show you. So in the first case, it starts with the default 0 and steps by 1. In the second one, it starts with 1 instead of 0. And in the third one, it starts with 1, stops at 10 but does not include 10, and steps by 2. So you can actually see that we've got the odd numbers. Yeah, so what we can do is we can get it to start at 2 and step by 2. So now it's going to give me the even numbers. So I hope this video helped you understand how to use the range function. which could get really handy, especially when you're working with lists and you need to access the indices of their lists. So the range function could be really, really useful. So I'll see you in future videos. Thank you for watching.